Welcome to the AMS Dynamics.com podcast. AMS Dynamics.com. Let us be your dynamic business solution.
Hey, I'm Ash.
And Tiny.
We were with AMS LLC, AMS Dynamics.com.
Let us be your dynamic creative solution.
And we're here to talk about, with our continuing podcast, about...
We're still doing our deep dive into Primal Branding.
Primal Branding. And what are we on today?
So this is Patrick Hanlon's concept of Primal Branding. And if you want to learn more about his book, there's a link in the show notes there. But today we are going to talk about the concept. So Primal Branding, if you've heard of as you've heard in our previous podcasts, is the concept of 7 different primal codes that are programmed into people that when those notes are hit, they can't help but be attracted to a certain group or a certain product or a certain service or a certain way of thinking, and they become a part of that family, that tribe, that group, that membership, that legion. And so we have gone through several of those primal codes, and today we're going to be talking about rituals.
Rituals, okay.
Yes. And so when you think about a group, groups have rituals that they do. Let's just talk about the fitness group, the fitness culture.
Gotcha.
There's a ritual. So I actually really liked a quote that Tony Robbins had. He said, you can usually see when somebody has a ritual of fitness. You can, if somebody has a part of their ritual that they work out 5 times a week,
right.
You can see that. You walk in, you look at them, you're like, that guy works out 5 times a week. It's a ritual. But there are other rituals that go along with being a part of fitness culture. They can make jokes about protein shakes. They can understand about trying to find clothes that fit properly. They can understand the ritual of going to the gym. And so there's a joke about how Monday is International Chest Day. And the reason being that everybody seems to want to hit bench press on Mondays. And so one ritual is trying to find a bench press a bench to bench on Mondays. And so that's a ritual that they identify with, and that brings them closer together. That's something that they're able to talk about, able to discuss, able to relate about, and that brings them closer together and bonds them.
So we're not talking about like a ritual like putting candles in a circle. We're talking about like common procedure, a common thing that a group does.
So let's touch on that real quick, actually.
Okay.
Because we want to understand the baseline foundation for why this type of thing works. So when somebody, let's say for an example, joins a fraternity, right?
Right. Okay.
We know that they have Hell Week and they have certain types of hazing and abuse that goes on, but the initiation rites, the passage is also a ritual, and a lot of times there's cloaks and there's coffins and there's candles and there's stuff like that. And so they pass through all these initiation rites and rituals, and that actually does bond that group closer together. The purpose of the ritual of the hazing and the abuse is so that when they have passed through the initiation rites and they get through on the far side, their brain tells them that it was all worth it because they went through all of that abuse, all of that hazing to earn the right to go through that initiation ritual.
So it's part of your primal branding.
It's part of the primal association, the primal connection that those groups have with one another. And so when we talk about it, we're talking about it in a sense of modern society, marketing. We're talking about it in a sense of building a brand. And as Patrick Hanlon says in the byline for his book, build zealots, create zealots for your brand. We want people, if they have an idea for a business, or if they are currently running a business, if they're currently selling a product, they want to understand these primal codes so that they can leverage that knowledge to be able to use it in their marketing, in their communication with their customers. Because if you're selling a product, you have an innate desire for people to enjoy the product, get use out of it, be entertained by it, and to want to come back and use it again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so these things are just concepts of notes you can hit in people's primal programming that makes them feel more bonded to your product.
Do you have an example of a modern ritual when it comes to a business or sales or something like that?
So a perfect example, we have talked about Tesla a couple of different times and used them as an example. So a ritual that a Tesla owner has that a regular internal combustion engine vehicle owner does not have, it has to do with the charging of the vehicle. And so they have to keep it charged with electricity. Either they charge it overnight at home, or they go to a supercharger, which is a location provided by Tesla where they go and they charge up their car. That is one of those rituals. Another one of those rituals is when Tesla has over-the-air updates. And so when a new update comes out, it comes with new features. Tesla vehicles improve and get more features and more abilities as the time passes, whereas most cars, they start to fall apart and rot as time passes. And so people, there are websites dedicated to monitoring the updates and the changes, and last year at this time we got an update, and so let's look forward to those features. That's a ritual that people do. Those updates come out, they come out at midnight. People will stay up late to get the latest update. Now that same exact ritual can go for the whole Apple. I don't want to say cult, but the Apple fan base, the iOS updates. Yeah. Exactly. iOS updates come out, and there are two rituals that are in part with that. Number one, I've got new features. I've got new emojis. There are websites dedicated to the new emojis on iOS on the updates.
Where are they adding? Where are they subtracting?
But there's a second part to that ritual. Everybody always kind of, what's going to break now when I do the new iOS update?
Well, there's always something, right?
Always something that doesn't work. And we both have iPhones. We are both parts of the Apple fan base, and so we understand that is part of the ritual. Oh, man, the new iOS is here. What new emojis am I going to get? But at the same time, what's going to break?
Yeah.
One thing is going to break when I download the update. So that's part of the ritual. Rock bands, rap groups, they have long since understood. Musicians have long since understood the concept of the ritual. You talk about like Jimmy Buffett. I mean,
oh my God, Jimmy Buffett.
Yes, the Jimmy Buffett parrot heads.
Very,
right?
very ritual.
It's very ritualistic. It's strange to say that because Jimmy Buffett is all about, hey man, I'm barefoot, man. I'm nibbling on sponge cake. There. Oh yes, the creation stories out there. The son of a sailor, everything.
Yeah.
But they have, not only do they have the icons. All right, they have the creation story. They have the creed. What is the creed, man? We're barefoot, man. Let's hit the beach. Let's do it, man.
Coral Reefer Band.
And so, but they also have the rituals.
Yeah, you're right.
You go to a Jimmy Buffett concert, the words "salt, where's the damn salt" is not in the song, but every time he sings that one song, at this one point, the whole stadium shouts, "Salt, where's the damn salt?" That's a ritual. If I've ever heard one, you get a group of 15,000 people to chant the same thing at the same time without being prompted. That's a ritual. Gotcha. And it brought that whole group together. And wherever he goes, groups of people will band together and perform that ritual before him.
Huh. So it also is part of the ritual wearing a certain attire, or is that something different?
So it doesn't matter if you can. I would consider wearing certain attire to be part of icons, but also depending on the attire. I mean, when you talk about a fraternity initiation where they put on a certain robe and masks or whatever else.
Well, I was thinking if you go to like a Metallica concert, it's going to be a lot of black T-shirts, black pants.
Yeah, that would be icons to me.
But if you go to a Jimmy Buffett, it's going to be Hawaiian shirts, flip-flops, straw hats. So that's more of an icon.
It could be either one, and it doesn't matter what we call it because it's all part of the primal code. But I mean, if you remember that movie, what was it, Skulls, where it was based on the Order of the Bones.
Yeah.
So they had like robes and masks, and that would be part of icons or rituals. This podcast is brought to you by AMS LLC out of Greensboro, North Carolina. AMS LLC is a full-service business consultation firm that provides tax services, accounting, and bookkeeping and payroll. And then there's a division that Ash and I work in, AMS Dynamics. We provide creative solutions, including logo design, videography, photography, website, social media, anything that you need for your creative solutions for your business.
That's right. On our website, if you go to amsdynamics.com, you want to book an appointment for any of those things or a consultation, check it out. Book now up top corner. Set up a schedule with us. Come on to the office, or we can do it via Zoom or by phone call or however is more convenient for you.
And the website has a comprehensive list of all the services that we provide, along with a description of each one. And you can contact us and find out more information about it. Check out amsdynamics.com. Right. So it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter if you say it's an icon or you say it's a ritual, as long as you understand those notes are being hit in the primal code. But musicians have long since understood. You just brought up Metallica. I mean, that's a good one. We have talked about the Insane Clown Posse before, and the reason we keep bringing it up is because objectively, a lot of people feel like their music has no merit, but their fan base is zealous.
Well, they hit on every point of primal branding.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, they have
almost intentionally.
When you go to an ICP concert, they spray Faygo soda out into the crowd. People dress up like, they paint their faces with the clown makeup. They dress up. Those rituals are really hard and fast in that group. And I mean, they hit all the notes.
Yeah.
And by hitting all the notes, regardless of the music that they put out or its quality or however you feel about it, there's no denying that they have achieved massive financial success and massive success in building a zealous cult-like following.
Their marketing is off the chain.
And so no one should be above learning from anyone else.
Yeah.
And what we can learn from them or from the Wu-Tang Clan or from Power Man 5000, which are all examples we've made before, is the fact that regardless of your feeling of the product they're producing, you can learn from their marketing efforts. You can learn from the fact that people are willing to purchase and get value out of products that they feel connected to as a group, as a family, and as a tribe.
Yeah.
That's what the effort should be.
So, rituals, I'm starting to understand now, because I'm learning along with the audience when it comes to this. It's all in your head.
Yeah, I'm here to help.
And it's all in that book by, who's that?
Patrick Hanlon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check. Is it going to be a link in our podcast?
Yes. Yeah. If people want to learn more about Patrick Hanlon's book, there'll be a link down in the show notes. It's reading that one is a life changer for you.
Really?
Because even if you're not running a business, you can suddenly begin to understand why you yourself are loyal to certain brands, certain stores, certain locations, certain groups.
Well, it's like with me. Of course, this might not be anything, but like with Coke and Pepsi.
Yep.
I like the taste of Coke better, but I also like holding the red can more than I would that blue can. Is that weird?
It's not weird, and so it's you enjoy that red can, that icon,
that ritual of opening it up.
Okay.
With like on a certain day or Christmas comes around.
Yes.
Coca-Cola comes to my mind.
Coca-Cola created that Christmas ritual. They got the polar bears. Santa Claus is a Coca-Cola guy. That's
kind of icon
true.
zone, but
it's both. It's both. The icon, the icon, and rituals and sacred words all kind of overlap, and we'll cover sacred words in our next podcast.
Okay.
But icons, rituals, and sacred words all kind of go together. So sacred words is words that are recognized by the group that may or may not be recognized in the same way outside of the group. Mm-hmm. Perfect example is Tesla and supercharging. So we'll talk about it in the next podcast. But the reason I say it is because you can call it a ritual, or you can call it a sacred word. The Insane Clown Posse, when you see another juggalo being a sacred word that's understood inside the group but not outside the group, juggalos will greet each other by saying, whoop, whoop.
And that's a ritual and sacred word.
It is a ritual and a sacred word. Exactly.
Okay.
So icons, ritual, and the only way a juggalo would recognize another juggalo is by display of the icons. And so icons, rituals, and sacred words. So it is the exact same things that produce zealous followers for Apple, that produces zealous followers for Jimmy Buffett, that produces zealous followers for different religions, that does it for gangs as well.
Oh yeah,
because it's primal. It's all programmed into you. A gang could not succeed based upon its merits because the merits are none.
So they definitely got their creation story,
but they hit on the primal
icons.
codes. Yeah,
they have their rituals,
the rituals and the sacred words, and they make the people feel a part of a group. On their merits alone, they don't produce a quality product that can be enjoyed by the masses. It's not there.
It's not for them.
But the marketing of all of these groups, if it is successful, and I'm saying all the groups that when you talk about gangs, musicians, religions, businesses, corporations, the marketing, when it's successful, you can trace it back to hitting on those primal codes.
So let's talk about, just a couple more things about this, so I fully understand, and the audience fully understands. Rituals, icons, and sacred words are close, but rituals are more about the culture
It's
involved?
it's more about a behavior that is recognized as something that everyone in the group does.
Okay.
And so that's something that, even from my perspective, I don't care Coke versus Pepsi. I don't. But from my perspective, I can see that Coke did a better job of producing the primal notes for icons, rituals, and sacred words.
Gotcha.
You said, I enjoy holding that red can in my hand. That's icon.
Yeah.
That's iconography.
Yeah.
And then you said, when it comes to Christmas time, man, I think Coke. I want to pop open a Coca-Cola at Christmas time. I want to pop, that is a ritual. Now, Pepsi kind of went a different way. My breakdown of Pepsi is that they thought that by purchasing celebrity endorsements, they could get that same, and they just can't. They cannot. I mean, they had Puff Daddy, they had Shaquille O'Neal, they had Carson Daly, Michael Jackson. And I mean, the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial is most famous for Pepsi setting his hair on fire. It doesn't, I don't run out and buy Pepsi because of that. I don't get to Christmas time and think to myself, man, I sure need to crack open an ice cold Pepsi. It's just not, and the thing is, I don't care. To me,
they have different rituals and different things that appeal to other people. Born in the Carolinas.
Okay.
Especially if you live in the Carolinas, it's important. Cheerwine.
No, Cheerwine is important because Cheerwine did a better job of selling that.
God, you're right.
Yes.
And Cheerwine is a local drink. It's nationwide.
I'll be honest with you. While I don't know the actual creation story of Cheerwine, I know that it's presented as a local legend.
Yeah.
And if you're from Carolina, you drink Cheerwine.
Yeah.
And they nailed it. They hit it on the head. They made it happen. Oh, no, it's Cheerwine. You know Cheerwine. It doesn't really taste like anything exactly, but it tastes like everything all at the same time.
You know what? You go to Bojangles, which is another local, and get some Cheerwine.
Yeah, but you know what? Nobody, I never hear anybody be like, I've got to have Pepsi. I'm Pepsi all the way.
Richard Petty in racing and some major sporting events like halftime shows or Pepsi.
And during the time that you could pop open a Pepsi bottle and maybe win a trip to visit Richard Petty, people would buy Pepsi. And Pepsi's doing just fine, obviously, because they're still out there.
Yeah, they're killing it.
But people are not zealous. Pepsi, to me, Pepsi is Windows PC, whereas Coke is Apple. People go after Apple. They go after Coke.
I love Coca-Cola. I'm loyal. I drank a Pepsi recently at Thanksgiving because they had no Coke, and I was like, ugh, disgusting. Pepsi tastes great.
Pepsi tastes this.
I'm just loyal.
It's
customer.
not Coca-Cola. Now I'm married to a Coca-Cola woman. She is Coca-Cola all the way. There's not Pepsi in our house. To me, I don't care either way. If I go to a place and I say, "Can I have a Coke?" and they say, "Is Pepsi okay?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever."
Yeah, I mean Pepsi's good.
But I've never gone into a store and had the selection Coke, Pepsi, and reached out and got a Pepsi and left with it.
So you're telling me, I'm telling people that for me, it's about the marketing, the group I'm involved with, and it's the kind of ritual of the Coca-Cola, the icon.
Yeah, I'm betting somewhere in this house is a piece of Coke memorabilia.
There is.
Okay, is there a piece of Pepsi? There you go. I have a relative. Well, I'll just say my sister-in-law. She has tons of Coke memorabilia. It instills a feeling into her family. Coca-Cola memorabilia.
Yeah, I mean, there's Pepsi memorabilia too. That's crazy. So the Jimmy Buffett stuff, the cheeseburger in paradise, you get a certain cheeseburger if you go somewhere like a Jimmy Buffett concert. That's a ritual and an icon. The wearing of the parrot head clothing is part of the ritual.
There you go. And it's an icon.
It's an icon.
So it all overlaps, but the ritual acts are what draw people together in that experience. When you see the icon, you recognize that person is a part of the group. When you perform the ritual together, you are actually participating in that family tradition. That feeling that's created by a family tradition, it can't be replaced by television commercials or by celebrity endorsements. Only by hitting on those primal codes that are programmed into us can we really truly create zealots for our brand. And that should be the goal for everyone who really wants a successful business. Make a good product and build a tribe, legion, alliance, or family tradition and ritual around it.
Dude, this is very enlightening. This is awesome. I learned something today. Well, this is Ash.
And this is Tiny.
Great podcast, bro. AMS LLC, we are part of AMSDynamics.com. Come check us out.
Let us be your creative solution.
Thank you for listening.